What's up, fam? We back. See, here's the thing. Y'all know we always talking about things that affect us in our community because we professional black men, so we know a little bit about that. But today, what we're going to talk about is two things, two social ills that we have in our community. So today's show is going to be sellout or self-hate. Which one is the bigger problem in the community, in our community? So what we're looking at, and I'll, tell you guys, we all about definitions. So we're going to go with the definition of self-hate. According to Webster's, self-hate is the intense dislike of oneself. So,
Kind of self-explanatory.
okay.
Fair.
Versus sellout, which
that?
is a betrayal of the black community in the interest of personal gain. I kind of like that.
That from the Urban Dictionary?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think
Well,
that
it
was
probably
a
would
little
have some cuss
different.
words in here.
Yeah, I think that was a little different.
I cleaned it up a little bit.
Thank you.
So, just diving into it, B, let me ask you, how do you feel about those two terms? Because some people will use them interchangeably.
Mhm.
Some people will make a definite defining moment between self-hate and sellout.
Yeah.
To me, if I were to say it, I'd say self-hate is a bigger issue as opposed to selling out. But you tell me what's your opinion on that? Which one do you think is the bigger problem in our community?
I think I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to put a vote up for self-hate too, because I feel like a lot of things start with us, right? Accidents. We just had a shooting accident at a hospital nearby.
There wasn't no accident.
Well,
Fam, we
It was an
had
incident.
somebody
It was
that
an incident.
I didn't want to dive into details.
somebody ex unalived someone at a local hospital. This happened yesterday. So yeah, it wasn't no accident.
But it takes me back to that self-hate. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if you are a person that, I'm not gonna say practices, but has self-hatred for yourself, you got a lack of discipline. You just don't care about things, right? And now that can lead you to go sell out because you can say, I hate myself, I hate my community. So I'm gonna just out all of y'all. But I still see that's the bigger problem because I feel like you can leech over to selling out due to hating yourself. And if you hate yourself, I mean, it just spews off a lot of things. Like, do you hate your parents that you came from? Do you hate what you do? What do you hate? So for me, I'm gonna vote on self-hate.
Okay, I think though that and Carl, I don't know if you agree or not, so we'll come to you. But for me, I think self-hate can take different forms. I.e., colorism. That's one, and we'll talk about that, later. From a financial standpoint, getting a bag or whatever the case may be. But Carl, I'm gonna throw it to you. Which one do you think is the bigger problem in our community, being a sellout or self-hate?
Being a sellout.
Okay.
Do tell.
I say that because being a sellout, you don't necessarily have to hate yourself to be a sellout.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to betray everything that you know and came from for fame and fortune. And with that, you are dangerous because there's no limit to fame or fortune, which means there's no limit to the depths of degradation that you'll go to
Good point.
obtain these things. So self-hatred, and as you guys were talking about, let's kind of drill it down. Anybody can hate themselves for whatever reasons.
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking about black folks, a lot of times we hate ourselves because of specific reasons. Like you said, we can talk about colorism. We can talk about economic factors. We can talk about historical issues. All of
Yes.
those things can go
How
into
we were raised.
right.
Exactly.
Exactly. All of that goes into why do I hate myself? Why do I hate the skin I'm in? Why do I hate the condition I have? Those people can be talked to. Those people can be counseled. Those people you can, don't hate yourself. Look at what you have. Look at what you've done. Look at what we've done as a people. Not to say that it's going to cure all. I'm not saying it's going to cure all.
Might be a
Because I know
tough
we've
one.
done all those things and we've got black power, yada, yada, yada. But once you said, you know what? I'm just thinking about me. And whatever I got to do to promote me, I'm going to do that. And To me, again, there's no coming back from that. There's no selling out and then turning around and saying, you know what? I was wrong. Take me back, everybody.
Now,
Good
see,
point.
that's
Okay, you
that
got me
for
there.
that though. I'm a pushback. I think for me, it's self-hate. And what you just said about not being able to come back, I don't think you can come back from self-hate. You know, and we've got plenty of examples that we're going to talk about and dive into. In terms of sellouts, though, for me, in a historical context, the very first sellout,
You found the first one?
Judas.
Biblical man.
So I think about that. And then even in the definition, I think there are elements when you think about selling out,
Mm-hmm.
think about what Judas did. Sold Jesus out for what, 6 pieces of silver, I believe.
Yeah,
So
he had it coming up,
when we
apparently.
talk about selling out, hey, nah, that was personal gain.
But did he come back? Now,
Hey,
I don't think Judas
I
made
don't
it come back.
Yeah. And I say that because too, interestingly enough, think about it. The one of the recent movies that came out about the Black Panthers, Judas and the
well,
Black Messiah.
I'm gonna get into that too.
Because I got one, because for me, outside of Judas, I can think of one, Carl, and speaking on your point when we're talking about sellouts, of how it affected the masses, is Mr. I don't even know if I can give him that honor, Bill O'Neill.
Mm-hmm.
William O'Neill,
Okay.
who, fam, if you watch the movie, even if you didn't watch the movie, you know about the history of the Black Panthers. William O'Neill was a young black man that infiltrated the Panthers and led to the eventual unfortunate murder of Fred Hampton. Now, real quick, Carl, I know you know the story. I think it's back in 67.
69.
No, I'm saying when he first,
started.
when,
Yeah,
yeah,
67,
yeah. In 67, William O'Neill got caught by the FBI, stolen car. So they're like, okay, we can make this go away if you do a little something for us.
Scratch my back.
Yeah, so now we're
Scratch
going to make
yours.
you an FBI informant. We're going to pay you a stipend, but we want you to, get into the Black Panther Party, which of course he did. What astonished me though is how quickly it happened. I mean, I think it was in a matter of 2 years
Yeah,
from the
so
time that he started
Mm-hmm.
to Fred Hampton being killed.
Mm-hmm.
And after the fact, it this thing called karma, because I think Bill O'Neill, he died in 1990. Okay. And the thing that was real funny about it to me was apparently they ruled it as suicide. He got drunk, he did whatever else he had to do, and he decided, I'm gonna go play Frogger on the freeway. Well, you know how that turned out.
Not well.
So I say all that when you think about the effect that that had on our community, because when Fred Hampton was murdered, the Black Panther Party is still around today, but of course they're not as relevant as they
Yeah.
once were.
Things have changed.
Not to mention the fact that Fred Hampton was as young as he was. He was what, 20, 21 when he got killed?
Mm-hmm.
So you think about that. Who do you know now that can affect change the way this young man did? However, Bill O'Neill came in. Yeah, I'll do it. I don't even know what was the stipend. Not that it even matters.
It didn't matter. And the other part of that is from 1969 until his demise, he was in the witness protection program.
Yep.
True.
So he was really relegated to be, I'm going to say, a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
I think he changed his name to Hart or something like that.
Did all of this kind of stuff, kind of just led a regular life, but always had that guilt in his heart. And this is the dangerous thing. Even in his mind, he's thinking, okay, yeah, I'm giving this information to the FBI. And these are his, I'm paraphrasing his words.
Yeah.
I'm giving this information to the FBI. I'm informing on the activities of the Black Panther Party. I'm giving a diagram of Fred Hampton's apartment because they said they're going to raid it. I drug him the night before the raid.
He said he didn't drug him though.
He drugs him the night before the raid.
Claims. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Allegedly.
So that he stayed. So you're doing all of this, but in your mind, you're saying, they're not going to kill him. They're not going to kill him. You're really rationalizing that they are gonna kill him, and you know this.
Yeah, yeah.
But you just, it's the government. They can't do that. Why would they do that? That's why I say that's just so dangerous, because there's no depths low enough that you'll go, but you'll rationalize it to say, oh, well,
And we continue to have this distrust of the government.
But
Because
is
my
that-
thing is, he was a kid when they tapped him, and how are you supposed to know? I was just still in the car. And here I am now, the cause of the downfall of this very important organization, because they weren't a political party.
Yeah, true.
All they wanted to do was educate our people
Empowerment.
and feed our kids.
But let me ask, is that selling out or is that fear?
That's selling out.
That's selling
You
out.
think that's okay?
I mean, because again, you have to imagine too how influential the FBI was over him.
That's what I'm asking. Can that be fear?
You
Because
17, 18 years old, they telling you
you're a criminal.
Yeah.
So you got caught. You go to jail.
And they telling you it's going to be worse than what it actually is.
So I think it's a little fear factor in there too that influenced the selling out.
Okay, here's how you do that. FBI puts me in, I'll do it. I'll do it. Go to Fred Hampton. Hey, check this out. The FBI got me planted here. That's not selling out. So how you want to handle that?
Now
do you want me to give them false information? We can do this. We can do this a bunch of ways.
But I said fear. That's what I'm thinking. He's 21. That's my whole life.
So you decided to sell out.
Fear. Yeah.
You were old enough to do the crime, old enough to make some decisions.
I think the fear influenced the
so
selling out.
So give me, Bill. let me see here. Give me an example that you would have somebody sell out.
Oh boy. Okay. So I did some research, just to see what figures that we were.
B got to do research, fam, because he's only been on this earth 30 years. So.
I like to just research topics and learn things. You know what I'm saying? So I like to broaden my horizons. So,
enlighten us.
So when we talking figures, prominent figures, we know somebody that kind of came to bed. And we all learned about when we were younger days. Condoleezza Rice. So. You okay, Carl?
No, go ahead. I want to hear this.
I didn't know too much about her. I just learned from the little days. She was a political figure. But you do some research on her and opinions on her. She's regarded as a very high-ranking sellout in the Black community or in our race or in our country in general,
What was your first thought when you saw a picture of her?
I don't know.
You know what I thought of the first time I saw a picture?
I don't know.
She looked like the cousins and the aunties that you had that got their hair done in the kitchen with a straightening comb. Because
it didn't come out that bad.
Oh yeah, she was in great need of a perm. But anyway, go ahead.
This is okay. He already got her as a sellout. So go ahead. No, go ahead.
So to back off and come back around to that. A lot of people spreaded the conception that she was a token Black person for the Bush administration, and she probably could have been, if she was flaunted around. And then, of course, around that time, our race was highly leaning towards the Democratic Party, so that already kind of red flagged her, saying, "What's this Black woman? The one Black woman we get, she goes to place for the other team." And then another big elephant in the room is she tried to play down racism. Like, the good old racism isn't real. We overcame. And again, you just point all the red flags.
Did she say that racism wasn't real?
Well, here's a little stub on that. Rice often downplayed systematic racism, framing her success story as an evidence of American opportunity rather than structural inequality.
And see, what I want to say something about that, because one of the things that I felt with Bush Jr. and his administration, as dumb as he appeared to be, I think one of the smartest things that he did as president was surround himself with incredibly intelligent people, of which Condoleezza Rice was one. And the first thing I thought about when, her name comes up, even Colin Powell's name, because he was in the Bush administration as well. The first thing I think about is what committee got together and said, hey, they sellouts. Because I personally, even though their names come up, I never put them in the category of being a
Yeah,
sellout.
true.
And,
Well, I
and that's
think,
just me and my personal opinion.
I'll say this. I did it first, and I changed my opinion throughout the administration.
Hmm.
I do think that you can have different political views. Even her statement of, like you said, I think that, paraphrasing again,
Mhm.
systemic racism, is not going to stop you from achieving your goals, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bingo.
We can disagree on that.
Mm-hmm.
We can
Yeah, you
somewhat
can.
agree. We
Yeah,
can
yeah,
somewhat
that's fair.
disagree. There's some gray area in there.
Mm-hmm.
Her politic with the Bush administration, a lot of the things they were doing in that administration, some of the lies they told, and so on and so forth. Your politic, that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, it's complicated.
We can get into that. Okay, but I'm with Gene. After looking at everything, I'm like, this is a highly intelligent, highly capable
Mm-hmm.
individual who looks like somebody that got their hair done in the kitchen. She could live down the block. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and then I know
Shout
one
out
of
to
the
the
things
pressing cone.
one of the things she did too is play up her relationship with the 4 girls in Birmingham who got killed in the bombing.
Mhm.
She knew them growing up, and
Smart play.
yeah. I mean, so it's like I'm almost like, hey, I'm from the hood.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me, look at what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this discussion back in, during the Bush administration. If that was my daughter, I'd be very, very proud of her.
Mm-hmm.
If that was my relative, I'd be so proud. I may not agree with everything they're saying, but I would be
True.
very proud of them. So I didn't think of her as a sellout.
Yeah, but I think media really did a job portraying
Black
that.
media did for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
because again, there were articles saying how she just pushed the war agenda, and I think the biggest thing that pushed her as a seller out was that media often portrayed her as somebody that pandered to the administration versus her people. And I think that's kind of where she was coined the sellout, because she cared about the administration she was for, apparently more than me and you.
That's her job, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
But
my
that's what the
point.
media
Because
painted her as.
if you go to work on Monday and your boss asks you to do something and you say, nah, I can't do that, how much longer you think you're going to have a job?
Don't try that.
You look, okay, Colin Powell, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He came out and said, yeah, Iraq don't have all them nuclear weapons. They don't have that stuff. 2 weeks later, you know what? I was wrong. Iraq got it. And at that point, I said, he's a soldier. He's a soldier. He got to take orders.
You got to do what you
Bush
got to
gotta
do.
do what he gotta
He was a
do.
commander in chief. So yeah.
So if we gonna go to war, I gotta go to, that's just what I got. So it's not about, to me, that wasn't selling out your people. If you want to say they were selling out everybody.
And then what I have to look at too is, for the people that are saying that those two in particular were sellouts, how many of us really knew the inner workings of the West Wing? We only knew
know so
what they
much.
told
Yeah,
us.
you only
Exactly.
know so much.
So they knew a hell of a lot more than we did. So I have
yeah.
to imagine that whatever they did was in the best interest
Mhm.
of the United States.
Yeah, we would hope.
I think
That's what I'm saying. We would hope.
I think too that, when we talk about sellouts, we've got some now that, my God, here just recently with this last election, some people came to light, entertainers, what's the man that liked to smoke a lot of weed? He looked like he about 200 when he take his glasses off, eyes sunk back in his head.
200.
Oh, Snoop. That,
Not
yeah.
200.
Him. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Snoop's supposed to be a real one. Yeah. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about selling out, for personal gain,
Connections.
he DJ'd, was his own hype man, and he rapped at an inaugural function. So you have to imagine he got paid a little bit of change. That's personal gain.
Yeah, Uncle Sam got deep pockets.
Nelly did the same thing.
Mhm.
Performed that event. Personal gain. One that I forgot about, as we go back to sellouts, are, I guess in my opinion, local folks that we deal with. you know. And I think, for us as a community, it's real easy to label somebody a sellout.
Mhm.
But I think for the most part, a lot of it has to do with the perception that we see.
True.
Another one, Jay-Z. Now, literally selling out.
The
People
Negro
call
in
him a
the coop.
sellout because of, he sold Rock Nation. Okay. That's a business move. However, when he came on board with the NFL and
Yeah.
going to produce the Super Bowl halftime shows, and to this day, I will never forget this comment when they had a press conference and they asked him, well, how do you feel about, Kaepernick and the kneeling and stuff like that? And he said, and I quote, "We've moved past kneeling." So to me, that indicates it's not important to you.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
Money's
Well,
important. I wish I had my money buzzer. I'm sorry.
This is the thing about Jay-Z though. We can call him a sellout, but is he really? And I say is he really because in everything he's done, and even in his music, his business moves, it's always been about him. It's always been about
You got the money thing too.
it's always been about him.
Cha-ching.
But isn't
So
selfishness a part of being a sellout?
But are you selling out? I'm telling you, it's gonna be about me. I'm not representing you. I'm not representing you. I'm not
think it's
representing no
money.
black people. I'm representing me, and it's about me. So whatever I got to do to get me, it's about me. Now, if this was Chuck D,
Oh Lord,
it'd be a different story. You know what I'm saying?
Apples and oranges.
It'd be a
Ooh,
different.
Lord.
But if all I've ever said is
I'd have to give up rap.
I'm trying to get this money. I'm trying to get this every like you said, business moves I've made. I've cut people off. I've done everything to be about me. So when I saw that, I didn't really think of it as selling out. I thought of it more as you just being who you are.
I think that's a big fine line because when you got stuff like that, when there's money involved and us involved and the other races
We don't
involved,
always lean toward that.
so I feel like, yeah, you could say Jay-Z is NFL contracts are huge. I don't know how much he made off of that. Probably more than I'm gonna see in 2 lifetimes.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It's a ton of money.
you see a lot of people on the side like, man, you selling out because that kneeling comment. How long was the NFL dealing with the whole controversy around kneeling?
Mm-hmm.
Are we giving some people too much credit that they're one of us?
Well, considering where he came from, I
He
think
was
a lot of
one
people.
of us.
And then what
You
I
just
look
talked
at
about
too,
Condoleezza Rice.
but
She
he
with the pressing cone.
I mean,
My
the
sister had the
the
pressing
Tom
cone.
Brady celebration that they had at Gillette Stadium,
Mhm.
Jay-Z performed.
Mhm.
And I saw a clip of it. He on stage, he was probably one of less than 10 black people in the whole house.
because he knows Robert Kraft, who was another billionaire.
And people weren't even paying
Billionaire. Press
attention
the money
to him.
button.
They
That's
were
it.
milling around while he was on stage doing his thing.
Sure.
So even though he's friends with Kraft, he got paid for it, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
But I'm running in those circles. I'm not with you common people.
So we don't matter.
I'm running. No, you don't. You
Yeah.
never did. You never did. That's why for me,
But
and
who
that's
was
just
buying
for
the
me.
CDs back in the day?
Whoever. I don't care who, but
we was
you know,
bootlegging them.
Oh well, dang.
you know,
not helping.
we have given this status to people that we think that they're supposed to be more than they are. They're supposed to represent us because they're black.
Yeah.
And
That does happen.
And I think that in certain cases, when they don't live up to that status, we say they're selling out. Even you can go back to Snoop. Snoop has really had a 30-year career, pretty much, off of one album. Yes, he's made multiple, but he made one good album.
Yeah.
And he's lived for 30 years off it, going different places, dancing with Martha Stewart and cooking stuff and this. I mean, all over the place. Now, you and I can go back to when he was sitting there praying he didn't get convicted of murder.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and it was all. But ever since then, I think that was the turning point. I got off of murder. Yeah, check this out. It's about me and mine.
But see,
from this point to the
but
end.
the thing with Snoop too is, he real quick to say he a OG. He unk. He still has gang affiliations, this, that, and the third.
Never was my
But
unk.
but
Well,
what is he doing
I mean, we the same
for
age,
his
so.
people, so to speak? Because I think a lot of times too, Carl, to your point, when we assume he black, he's for us.
That's it.
Then you find out he's not, or yourself.
That's it. That's it.
Be
We were
yourself.
assuming things.
I think too that what we have to look at, talking about selling out, is I remember, and you do, I'm sure, Carl, back in the 80s, where we had this whole push towards black consciousness. The rap was black power, this, that, and the third, until NWA. But anyway,
It was going.
we had
2 Live Crew too.
well, see, 2 Live Crew, that's a whole
He was
nother
woke
show
for a
too,
second.
'cause-
Yeah, he was woke for a
I
second.
had no problem with that. And the 2 Live, when they got off that case, woo, yes. But we had the no sellout T-shirts and this, that, and the third. So we were proud then.
Mhm.
Moving into self-hate, I think, to me, again, I think that's the bigger issue, because I look at the different variations of things that come about with self-hate.
Yeah.
Initially, when I say self-hate, I'm thinking to myself, just somebody that doesn't like the skin that they're in.
Bingo.
For whatever reason. And I thought about, talking about entertainers and celebrities and stuff. Lil Wayne, I would classify him as somebody he's in the self-hate category. And I say that because he made a comment a few years ago about how there's no such thing as racism. He doesn't believe in racism. He's always been anti-Black Lives Matter. And one of the reasons he said he didn't believe in racism is because when he was, I believe, 12, accidentally shot himself in the chest. And a white police officer saved his life. So that's your reason for not believing that racism still exists in America? To me, that shows how
slavery
unintelligent that thought process is. I won't take anything away from him as a rapper, because I hate his voice, but if you listen to his lyrics, he's a lyricist. He'll give it to you. But I say, self-hate in terms of, look at what he used to look like versus what he looks like now. With the tats all over his face and all. And to me,
and the drug use.
Yes. And I say to myself,
trauma.
Why you don't have to do this? You're talented. You don't have to. And just the fact that you've chosen to be on that side of the street, away from your brothers and sisters, I'm always, lump him in the category of somebody that self-hates. Of course, in my lifetime, the person that immediately jumps out, Carl,
Uncle Clarence.
Clarence Thomas. And even when you look at him, he always got a scowl on his face, like, I just hate that I'm so damn black. That's what I see when I see him. And he does everything based on that fact. When you read his opinions on cases, he goes overboard. And it's like you're trying to dismantle the very thing that got you to the position that you got to. Affirmative action helped his black ass get in to Yale Law School. Now all of a sudden, you're dismantling it. And you have the audacity to promote the fact that you got where you are because of your intelligence, not because of the color of your skin. So make that make sense.
What did you say about Lil Wayne? Trauma?
Oh yeah, with the drug use. Trauma.
Typically. And that's why I'm looking at, and that's why I say self-hate. Not that I'm going to, like with Clarence Thomas, we not going to vibe ever.
Yeah, fair.
At this point,
Understandable.
I don't think he's going to change. However, I can track back with him, with Lil Wayne, with a number of other people, the sources of their self-hatred, so to speak. Yeah. I can see the trauma in their lives that said, okay, well, there's some kind of mental break there.
Yeah, something has to snap.
If it's somebody that's a normal person, that's not a celebrity, and you can talk to somebody and they have this to me, that's a counseling issue. I can still talk to you if you're rational and give you some facts that are going to, because what you're going to do, like Lil Wayne, you telling me your experience. you don't want to listen to facts. So
Mhm.
there's something going on in yourself. You know, when you say there's no such thing as racism because a white man saved my life, I don't know how to
He was
answer
a
that.
police officer. Aren't you supposed to protect and serve if you're a cop?
That's right on the
But
car.
I don't. But
Yeah.
What the badge
but
says.
no, even more than that, we're gonna break it down to the granular level.
Okay.
Here's a kid who's in need. Here's a man who's looking to save that kid. That's just human, being a basic
Human nature.
human person. I mean, you're just a good person. It has nothing to do with black or white. It
Common
has nothing to do with race.
sense.
You know, a good man saved a kid's life. Period. If that's the story, period. It doesn't get deeper than that.
That's what he's paid
But he's
to do.
even if he wasn't, if it was just a guy down the street, it doesn't matter.
And even the fact though that he, from a monetary standpoint, had money very early on, so that allowed him to separate himself from us. And I think a lot of times, as you ascend financially,
you don't know,
exactly, you lose touch.
You lose touch.
And you know, another one, Carl, you brought up a real good point about, you know, BU2 trauma and something happening. How do you feel about Mr. West? Because you mentioned an experience, and a lot of people, we feel like when his mother passed,
that was it.
That was it. And
I think he had,
broke the camel's back.
because I think he has had, and he said it too. He's had mental issues for a while,
in multiple forms of trauma.
and then
not just the
now
mom.
he's talked about how he was molested as a young person. And
trauma.
he's had trauma, so now the only person that kind of could ground you is gone.
Yep.
And you've got a lot of money. I mean,
so can he come back?
Can he? Yes.
With years
Will
of
he?
extensive
But
counseling.
Can he? Yes. Will he? I don't know. Another person I think of that was young and lost their way, but Mike Tyson. The trauma that he went through.
Yeah, I was about to say T-word.
So you would put Mike in a category of self-hate?
I think so. I mean, he's still going through. He's gotten better.
If you look at,
but he's still a Trump fan too. So
yeah, because if you think about it, and I've heard him say this too about various experiences that he had. Because I think any traumatic experience that a child could face, Mike probably went through it.
Yeah.
He was sexually abused. He was bullied, so on and so forth. And
he
then
was poor. He was just
going back.
Mother was on drugs, alcoholic, or something like
Going back to the definition of self-hate: intense dislike of oneself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me throw another name out there, and this is just recent. Actor, comedian, entertainer.
I know some of them.
Jamie Foxx.
Oh, I think we saw a recent.
So let's talk about
that.
You want to discuss that?
Let's talk about.
Because I posed the question, fam. I posed a question to my boys because there was a recent post, and I saw it on Instagram. Shout out to IG. Jamie Foxx in his special that he did after his health scare, whatever, which I didn't watch. By the way,
me neither. Sorry,
but apparently there was a part in there where he professed his love for us as a people, and he said, "I'm giving up white girls, giving them up, because black people, y'all was there for me when I was in the hospital. Y'all saved me. My sister's a black woman, and she was the one that saved my life.
A black woman. No kidding.
Yes, I love black people. I'm giving up white girls.
My sister black too.
And the post had side by side. Jamie was in it was a very expensive, luxurious SUV, and he had on a real big hat. Yeah, and it was at least 4 or 5, I think, young women in the car.
His cousins?
No, because they were all white. But Jamie, you told us you gave up, right? And I saw the clip, looking very serious. He was, I'm giving up white girls.
So I didn't know you had to give them up to
they apparently are.
It's an addiction or something?
The magical elixir.
He said that like he addicted. I mean, I gave up candy, but
well, he might have been addicted. I mean,
I'm quitting drinking.
So the whole interracial thing. I am
Is
not.
that selling out?
I am not. Or is it self-hate? Those. That's a lot of people will ask that question. Are you
I think it's
selling
a
out?
mixture.
Like Dr. Umar. He'll ask. I don't. I do not. I think that's a very difficult question to answer on either side because I don't.
It's
I'd have
about
to.
perception.
It's a case by case basis.
Why is it a case by case?
No, because it's Go
It's a
ahead,
case by
Carl.
because you're gonna. I know we're gonna say
Yeah.
there's some brothers out there who just don't like black women
But
Mhm.
why?
because they don't like their mama.
Yep.
Trauma.
There are some guys who were raised by women they don't like, and I don't care. Whatever the circuit. Some of and these are people that I've
Yeah, that's fair. I've heard this scenario.
their mothers were they could have been on drugs, they could have been abusive, or they could have just been domineering.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Domineering in the eyes of that person, because a lot of times you got a single black mother, and we know we love our black women. That single black mother has to play the role of mother and father.
Yeah.
And she gotta
Work,
she gotta make
cook.
she gotta exactly
she gotta do everything.
the whole nine. So you don't like that, and then once you get out there, you get the snow bunny.
But I think those men are being very stereotypical because what they're saying is all black women are like this. And then they're also gonna have a stereotype that all white women are docile.
Yep, passive.
So I'm gonna go get me a docile because I've known a couple of black men who just don't like
that. Yeah.
You can tell as soon as a black woman is like talking to them, they get like, okay, that's enough. And it's like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
that's how we talk as a culture.
But
they don't like that.
Yeah.
So you're gonna find, and they've been with white women. Now, I don't follow stereotypes because I know some white women that I'll be like, hey, watch your tone. So I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna say they're not all docile,
they're right. They
feminine
are not,
too. So a woman
so
is a woman.
A woman is a woman.
I don't care
It doesn't
what color
matter.
she is.
So if you got a guy that is a black man who is saying, I don't want a black woman because they too this, they too that, they too this, I'm gonna get me a white woman. That's very insulting to white women. That's very, it's like, why would you think that
because a white
if
woman
you
will
want a
knock you
docile
upside your
woman,
head too.
get you a docile woman. That
They out
doesn't
there.
right. But you have internalized self-hate.
Yes, I agree.
Through trauma that this is what I want. Now there's some men who just meet a woman, they vibe, she happens to be of a different hue, and now I think it's more of us that start going like, oh, you a sellout.
Yeah, because either way, if you go the route where you have a trauma route, you're still gonna be perceived as a sellout. Right. But if you find a nice white woman, whatever she is, you still gonna be.
But that's not his. But he's not sell. He's like, why am I a sellout?
Yeah, but he's just painted that way.
So, what do you think about the brothers that are biracial?
You black, no such thing.
Well, okay. And they end in
this country, you black.
They end up with white women. That's all they've ever been with. Because 9 times out of 10, the mama's white.
I think that's kind of the product of their environment too.
Well, and that's why I say, because that's like it's a dichotomy of self-hate versus this is how I grew up.
Yeah, because
I immediately think about we got celebrities, Patrick Mahomes. I could never picture him being with a sister. Quite honestly,
I have a woman that looks like my mother. I mean, I can't fault that.
Right. So I mean, I think that's in my opinion, that's more of a minority as opposed to the brothers that just black as tar and they just hate black women.
So let me give you this example of self-hate that I was thinking about, and this is just generalized. Mm-hmm. You said biracial. Barack Obama marries a black woman.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much his adult life spends in the black community. Mm-hmm. He gets elected in 2008. Black people are, for the most part, ecstatic,
Elated.
euphoric,
Elated.
elated.
It was orgasmic.
My president is black.
Now, as
Crying.
the years go on, I think, and it's pretty much going to go down, 20, 40, 50 years from now, that he was one of the greatest presidents in history based on his policies and the country's direction and so on and so forth. However, I'm using Eugene, comma, toward the end of his second term, black people started to question how black he is. And some are still doing that today.
Obama.
Because, and this is one of the things that Trump was able to do and is still doing, he did not fit stereotypes. He didn't go to jail. He didn't get in trouble. He didn't run around on his wife. He didn't get violent. He didn't fit any of the stereotypical black tropes. And then as racist white people started to use those things, they started to say, well, he's not black enough. And then black people picked it up and said,
yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I was getting ready to say. Who are you to tell me who's black and who's
he's
not?
not black enough.
And the one thing that I thought about too, in regards to President Obama, is the fact that a lot of people wanted to criticize him after he had left office, but didn't do it while he was in office. Because my thing was, yeah, he was a very good president, but nobody is perfect.
Nobody.
So there are some policies, because they called him the deporter in chief. He deported more people than anybody. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but my thought process behind it is, if you're going to criticize him after the fact, you should have criticized him when he was in office. Oh, my fault. You didn't want people to come for your neck.
Well, I did. I had a conversation with somebody in 2016, prior to the election. And my conversation was, I think Obama could have done more for the black community in particular. That person gave me, and we went on for a nice little bit of time, gave me every pushback of, well, he's the president of the United States. He's not the president for black people. He's got to do this, that, and other. I said, yeah, but in the second term, you're a lame duck president. You can really kind of just dig in. It's nothing. It's nothing you can, they're not going to do nothing to you. You can push harder. You can do this, that, and the other. You can establish some policies for whatever. I don't know if it's, I'm not going to, reparations would take a lot, but something close to it.
Yeah,
you could really do a lot. You could really just, he's got to play both sides. And then the House is not again, the House and the Senate, they're Republican led now and blah, blah, blah. So they're giving me all this pushback. And I said, okay, fine. That's fine. And I voted for Obama twice. So that was my guy. But I was able to criticize, and that's just one of his policies. I was able to criticize, him. Because that's what you do. I mean, you still have that right.
Yeah, you got to critique.
That same person that gave me all that pushback voted for Trump. And I brought up, and their whole thing, and their talk to me is, well, the Democrats ain't, they haven't done this, and this, that, and they did doing this.
Did they vote for him both times?
And I said, yeah. And I said,
2 for 2.
What do you mean? I said, let's go back. You and I had this conversation, and you were the one to. Don't talk to me about Democrat. This is the dumbest conversation that we can have, because you talking to me about Democrats. I'm talking to you about people and what they can do. So, to me, I'm looking at like that's self-hatred, because of how do you go from being so proud to defend this person as a black man to, well, we need to do more. So what flipped you?
I
Something
think a
flipped
lot
you.
of times though, people are like sheep. They hear something that they like and they lose their mind and they become, they put on blinders. I'm not listening to this. I'm not listening to your point, Carl. I'm not listening to rational conversations. And it amazed me that people actually did try to classify or do try to classify President Obama as a sellout. There, back in 2008, 2009, a Harvard law professor by the name of Randall Kennedy wrote a book called Sellout: Politics of Racial Betrayal. And he talked about how, folks lumped in Condoleezza Rice, Colin
Yep.
Powell, they lumped in President Obama
Mhm.
as being sellouts. And I have to look at it and say, when we talk about President Obama, we all were ecstatic when he got elected.
Yeah, as far as I knew, yeah.
But, my common sense tells me from the little bit that I do know about civics, everything that we wanted this man to do, there was no way he was going to be able to do it. Whether he had the
He wasn't
Congress or not,
Jesus.
reparations, I'm sorry. That's not something that's going to happen. I honestly believe that if we ever do get reparations, it won't be in our lifetime, but
Not mine either.
it'll be a white president. That'll bring it
Might be a
about.
Japanese one.
Yeah,
Right.
It's gonna be somebody that's not black that brings it about. Because I think that would be too much expectation to lob on a black person. Because then you got to get down to brass tacks and what do these numbers look like?
Can we
And
afford
people,
that?
well, am I a descendant of slave? You black, you are. Get out of here.
Well,
One drop rule.
well,
Is that rule still in effect?
Obama ran for president. Shirley Chisholm ran for president.
First.
What's my guy? Scientist man.
Scientist man.
I can't remember his name.
And okay, well, I'm just gonna do these two.
Was it
Fine.
Bill
And I'm
Nye?
not gonna get into Shirley Chisholm. I'm really gonna go Obama and Kamala Harris. Because they were serious candidates for president. I mean,
Jesse was too.
they were serious candidates for president.
Sharpton was too.
They were serious candidates for president. And one of the things that I'll say this till I drop. Obama did not have slave lineage.
Wasn't dark enough.
No, he didn't have slave. He was black, but his
he
daddy
wasn't-
was
he
from
wasn't-
Africa.
Wasn't dark enough.
And his well, that too.
And that's crazy too
No.
when you think about it.
And next one, Condoleezza Rice, but Kamala Harris, she was black, but she wasn't of slave lineage. Her father was Jamaican.
But again, we all can. If you look at the Middle Passage, when they brought slaves from Africa, they had slaves in Brazil. They dropped off slaves in Jamaica.
But they don't want. They're trying not to teach you that. So
You ain't supposed to know about that.
you're supposed to know about that. But at the
Slavery
same
was
time,
bad.
there was no Obama saying I can trace back, generations to my ancestors when they hit these shores and when they were enslaved by, the Thompson clan and so on and so forth. There was nothing like that. And so in his mind, he was more of a free thinker of, yeah, I'm black, but I can transcend this. And I think that's a lot of the way he talked. Even with, there was an interview that I saw that he did with, not he, but his brother-in-law and Michelle did an interview. And his
Are
brother-in-law.
they twins?
No.
Because they look like it. He looked just like Michelle without hair.
He's
I'm
older.
just saying.
Yeah,
Strong genetics.
strong. Because they look like their mama and their daddy put together. I've seen pictures.
Strong.
But
And that's not a compliment, the fact that he looks. But anyway.
here you go. He said that when they were dating, he pulled Barack to the side and kind of was like, hey, what's your intentions with my sister? And he said, well, actually, he said, what are your intentions? And he said, me and your sister. He's like, no, I'm talking about like career-wise and so forth. And he said, well, I think I'm going into politics. He was like, okay, what you want to run for alderman or whatever? He was like, nah, I'm more like senator and, that kind of thing. And he's like, maybe even president. And he said, listen, when we go back in this house,
Don't get from round here,
don't
boy.
say that. Because the family is going to think that you absolutely crazy. You can't, there's no way in the world that's going to happen. And that's how we were conditioned to think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't conditioned that way. He was conditioned
Sky's
like,
the limit.
the sky's the limit. Why can't I do it? Because he doesn't have that. And that's and I say all this to say that's part of a self-hate that is in us or in certain people, because it's like, you're only going to go this far.
Mm.
Mhm.
And I think that's why they don't like him now, it's like, what do you think you're doing? You can't still be popular. You can't be.
But you know what? I think a lot of it boils down to people just not being able to be open-minded and to educate themselves. You know, I can't listen to somebody and not verify what it is that they're talking about. You know, because I mean, for instance, when we talk about self-hate, one of the things that I think about as well is the colorism aspect of it.
Yep.
You know,
Big one.
and we've talked about this before. Sammy Sosa.
Oh, Sammy.
Sammy started bleaching his skin, and you know what he ended up looking like? Remember Saturday Night Live when Eddie Murphy played the white man?
Mhm.
He had on all this. He had on all this. I mean, it was comical. Sammy has gotten to that point. And I'm gonna tell you another person that I just thought about yesterday. Sister. And for the life of me, I can't understand. And this is why I think I'm gonna put her in the self-hate category.
Okay.
There are
Who you
two,
got?
but this one is more important than the other. The second one is Lizzo, but she don't really count. But the first one, Serena Williams. Serena Williams, if you look at her 5, 6, 7 years ago and look at her now, look like a completely different person. And I know there was some story a year or so ago about people talking about her bleaching her skin. Yeah, she's gotten a little lighter, but now if you look at her, just recently she started taking one of the weight loss drug, the GLP. She done dropped like 35 pounds.
She slimmed down a bit.
And she's had a nose job. She's had various surgical procedures. And I say to myself, sis, you was good. We used to love watching her play tennis. Lord, ooh,
Well-
Lord, we love. Because I mean, from her face, yeah, but the body was banging.
See, don't say that.
I'm just,
Don't say that's why she's having surgery.
but see, that's just it. I wouldn't.
Part of the
I would-
problem.
I wouldn't care. And then you think back to stuff that she probably heard coming up. You look just like your daddy.
She did look just like that.
Yeah.
Well, she did. Like you said, she don't.
With beads. But
Now,
would you consider that? Would y'all consider that to be an example of self-hate? Because there's been a transformation. And it's something that did not have to take place. Because the white guy she married to, you know he ain't got no say. Hey, would you shut up? Get over there and change that diaper.
You never know.
Give you a
never
knuckle
know.
sandwich. But I think when I think about the self-hate, and we kind of leached out to it, I think about the examples that we see like in pop culture. So I don't gotta give like a celebrity, but we kind of talked about this when we was prepping. I think of 3 names when it comes to black self-hate. Not real figures, but you've seen them before. And 3, no order, Clayton Bixby. I think we all know who Clayton Bixby is. But that does
Shout out to Dave Chappelle.
Does that not embody this black self-hate that you see? You know, he's
in Clayton's defense, he was blind.
But you knew how much he hated black people. And when he found out he was black, what did he do? So that's a big one when I think about black self-hate that rings up to me. We all saw the movie Django. Mr. Steven, who is this over there? He again, self-hated, loved the white man so much and didn't even want another black man to get in his house. He didn't want him in the big house. I think that's another great self-hatred example. Watch the movie to understand the house slave mentality. I think he embodied that and a little bit of the sellout too, because he didn't want no other Negroes in the house with Massa. And last but not least, Uncle Ruckus,
My
Boondocks. That's a huge, I can't say sellout because I don't know what he did to sell out, but you can see the self-hate to the point where he says, I got revitiligo about his black skin.
Yeah, he's a white man.
So
he's got that reverse vitiligo.
So I think even though it's just fake movie or TV examples, I think when you do look at sometimes people of our color that deal with self-hate, you see some of those traits.
But even those characters,
Not to that extreme.
Those characters come from a real place. Though.
Absolutely.
It's
That's
not
what I
as
was gonna say.
extreme, but you see that in those
it's an
characteristics.
amalgamation of things that people have experienced and things that they, have heard, things that they've seen. So I'm in complete agreement with that.
But is it an extreme? because
I think those cases
because
are
those
extreme.
okay, you would
There's
say
somebody
so,
out there like that.
You would
I
say so.
Guarantee
guarantee
you
you.
Clayton Bigsby.
but
Okay.
that's why I
Clayton
say
Bigsby.
the sellout is more dangerous, because you've got people out there that are trying, real life people
Mhm.
that are trying to emulate those characters.
There's no
For
Clayton Bigsby out here.
come on,
Man.
it
I'm
could
not.
be.
I'll give you a
in-
Steven and a Ruckus, but I'm not
in the
giving you a
mountains of
Clayton.
West Virginia, it's somebody.
I'm trying
Not the Virginia
to.
mountains.
I'm trying to say the most outrageous, the most clickbait worthy things
Mm-hmm.
against Black people to get the bag. And it's like,
But Clayton was poor.
but he didn't. But listen, but he was taking all the Klan rallies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
He became a spokesperson.
he got his outfit too.
Right? They
so,
love,
okay,
you know.
okay. He
the-
wrote a book.
It's the,
Okay,
it's the
never
fame.
mind.
It's the
Okay.
fame and the people will put you on a pedestal if you are outspoken. And some people get to the point where they just want to be outspoken and known for something. And they will get to, oh, Uncle Ruckus, oh, absolutely. If I can emulate that, if I could be a real life Uncle Ruckus, look how much money I could make.
But I think too that the more outrageous statements you make, the more money you can
Yeah,
make. So
especially
you
in
can
this
you can
viral
essentially
world,
start
yeah.
out as a sellout, and I think you can evolve into self-hate. You get to the point where you're like, this feel kind of good. You know what? This white man over here is right.
You can be a self-hating sellout. Absolutely.
Yeah, you go viral on TikTok and make some money. You gonna keep on Joe Clayton Bigsby or
but
whatever.
there are certain places you will not go.
Oh,
Or if you
yeah.
do go, you'll find out that it's still some real ones,
But
and
then those are the ones that try to come back. Dude, I was treated like that. No, I can't help you.
He punched me.
Yeah,
so was OJ a sellout?
OJ was self-hating.
But did he come back? He tried.
He tried.
Selling your autograph stuff don't count.
No, I'm
Well,
just
he was on,
but I'm just saying
Yeah,
and what I found to be amazing by that is the white women were still flocking to him.
He ran in those circles.
Later for us, but he had his black butt in them churches, didn't he? Johnny was out there stomping the church grounds for Mr. OJ.
We Black people are very accepting and forgiving.
That's
True.
part of our problem.
That
That's very
is definite. And you say that's a problem. It is really supposed to be part of our. It's really part of our DNA.
It's a gift and a curse.
It's a
Wait a
gift. There you go.
It is a gift, but
it's a gift and a curse. There you
Our
go.
biblical
Capitalize that.
upbringing.
It's not even biblical. I just think that's part of our African DNA.
Yeah.
We invited the people. We weren't even Christians.
Come
We
on down.
We invited them. Come on in.
What you doing with that ship?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, that's
It's
nice.
just part of our DNA.
And now we in America.
And they forced their religion on us. That too is another show. I think though, as we sit here and we talk about sellouts and we talk about self-hate, for me, the fact that it continues to be a problem, I have issue with that. And fam, like we've always said, with anything that we come about, that comes about in our show topics, none of us are afraid to talk about it. I think that what we have to do collectively, though, as a community, is be willing to speak truth to power. Talk about this stuff when you see it. And then, of course, you don't necessarily have to be, in your face, type aggressive behavior. But I mean, we can all have intelligent conversations about it. And I think the more of us that stand up against these examples, against these people, whether you're a sellout or you self-hating, it's not doing our community any good at all. But again, I say thank you guys for watching. We ask you to like us, share the episode, subscribe to the channel. And as always, we like to tell you to stay prayerful, stay positive, stay patient, and stay peaceful. See you guys next time.